You're in that hollow halfway hour. Eyes gritty, shoulders tight, tabs still glowing, too wired to sleep and too tired to decide. Everything that needs doing sits there like a weight, and your hands wait, because there's no clear voice telling the next minute what happens. It isn't laziness, it's a tiny leadership gap inside a fogged brain, where intention floats and motion never gets the cue. In this short piece, you'll learn a quiet, humane way to give the moment a leader again. Nothing grand, no motivation pep talk, just a small, practical shift that helps your body know the next inch to take, so the night stops leaking away.
It's late and the room holds its breath. The light is thin, your tabs are still open, and your body feels like a paused frame. Eyes scratchy, shoulders tight, mind humming, fingers stalled above nothing. Everywhere you look is something waiting for you. The sink, the inbox, the floor, the bed. Seeing it all at once hollows your chest in that particular way, the way that makes even small choices feel heavy. You wait for a surge, a sign, a clean stripe on the floor that says, "Start here." It doesn't appear. Minutes blur into a quiet standstill, like the engine is on, but the car won't move. You're not unraveling, not exactly, but you're not moving toward your life either. You could list every task by name, bold and neat, and still you wouldn't know the next inch. So you hover at the edge of beginning, slide back into scrolling, glance at the time, watch the night leak out under the door. You tell yourself, maybe in 5 minutes, maybe after one more scroll, maybe when the room feels different.
The room doesn't change. Underneath the static, there's a small ache you recognize, a wish that never makes it to words. I wish someone would just tell me the first thing, not the whole plan, just the next breath that turns into a movement. You're too wired to rest, too tired to decide, and no one is here to say what happens now. The silence makes every option heavier than the last. So you wait, not because you don't care, but because you can't hear the cue. And in that quiet, you keep delaying the moment your hands remember how to begin.
This isn't laziness. It's a leadership gap inside your own minute. When you're underslept and overloaded, the little thread in your mind that answers, "What now?" gets frayed. Usually, there's a background system running, tiny self-cues, quick motor choices, the silent plan that glides you from one motion to the next. Tonight, that system is offline. Without a clear cue, attention floats like loose wire in a dark room. Working memory fills with tabs and pings, and your hands wait at the edge of the table for instructions that never arrive. You try to think harder, to find the perfect list, to stir up a feeling powerful enough to drag you forward. But thinking without a cue just stacks more static on the channel. The harder you push from the inside, the louder the buzz gets, and the less your body knows what to do. The missing piece isn't ambition, and it isn't hours on the clock. It's a live signal that converts intention into motion, a single instruction the body can hear and obey.
Your environment won't supply it. The room stays dim. The feed keeps offering frictionless delay. At this hour, there isn't a manager or a teammate or a household rhythm to sweep you along. The only voice available to lead you is your own, and right now it's whispering worries, not directions. So the minute has no leader, your attention has nothing to hold, and because no one says what happens now, nothing happens now. This gap is small but decisive. Repairing it doesn't require a new identity, a new system, or a brave mood. It asks for a cue you can hear in the fog, a simple instruction that lands low and steady enough for your hands to follow.
What if you stopped waiting for a surge or a flawless plan? What if you lent your voice to the part of you that moves? Not a speech, not an affirmation meant to convince you of anything. Just one quiet line that tells the next minute what it does.
When you speak a single concrete sentence out loud, you recruit another channel, auditory and motor, so the instruction doesn't have to fight through the static in your head. It arrives already shaped for action, a small companion and a clear cue in the very same breath. Imagine a tiny, humane narrator who only shows up when you're depleted. Now we stand. Now we fill the glass. Now we put the phone down on the dresser. No fanfare, no judgment, no prophecy about tomorrow. You're not talking yourself into a new life. You're giving the next 60 seconds a leader. Your sentence becomes a rail your attention can grip, steady enough for your hands to step onto and begin. And beginning is the part that carries itself.
A stand becomes a step. A glass becomes a sink. A file opens and a rough line gets typed. Nothing dramatic, just motion reclaiming the space that worry used to fill. This is companionship at arm's length, the kind that keeps you company without demanding more than you have. A sentence that says, "Here is what we do now," and then makes room for you to do it. When the night offers only silence and open tabs, your voice can be the smallest working hinge in the door. It doesn't fix the whole house. It lets the door swing. You can borrow your own voice long enough to cross a minute. And once the minute moves, time starts again.
Try a 48-hour experiment called Say the Next Minute. Set the scene in 20 seconds. Exhale once and let your jaw soften. Lower your volume to a private tone, even a whisper. Place one hand on something solid, a table, the wall, your knee, so you can feel the present under your palm. Then use one-line cues, concrete and immediate, set softly enough to be yours. Now I'm staying up. Now I'm carrying the cup to the sink. Now I'm opening the Notes app and typing 3 words. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., email. Now I'm putting the phone face down on the dresser. Now I'm pulling the blanket to the foot of the bed. Now I'm washing just the fork and the pan. Now I'm setting a 10-minute light timer. Keep it short and near. Aim for actions that fit inside a minute. If something needs more time, narrate it in steps. Now I'm clearing the corner of the desk. Now I'm closing 2 tabs. Now I'm plugging in the laptop. Use natural triggers instead of willpower. When you catch yourself staring, say one line. When you start to scroll, say one line that places the phone down. When you stand to use the bathroom or kitchen, say one line about what your hands carry there and back. Build a small voice shelf of ready sentences on a sticky note. Now I'm drinking a full glass of water. Now I'm laying out tomorrow's shirt on the chair. Now I'm putting the keys on the hook. Now I'm setting a 15-minute wind down alarm. Now I'm brushing my teeth before I sit down again. Keep it humane. If shame creeps in, add with help. Now I'm opening the window with help. If someone's nearby, mouth the words or record a 1-sentence voice note to yourself. Protect your energy with stop rules. After 3 spoken lines, pause. If momentum appears, write it. If not, speak one more line and stop anyway. If a task grows fangs, shrink it with your sentence. Now I'm only doing the first 3 items. For bedtime, try a 5-line tuck-in. Now I'm putting the phone on airplane mode. Now I'm dimming the light to low. Now I'm setting the alarm and turning the clock face away. Now I'm washing my face for 30 seconds. Now I'm in bed, 2 slow breaths. For foggy mornings, now I'm opening the curtain. Now I'm starting the kettle. Now I'm putting on socks. Now I'm writing one line. Today needs one thing. Blank. For work re-entry after a slump, now I'm opening the file and scrolling to the last line I touched. Now I'm typing one ugly sentence. Now I'm saving and naming the file with today's date. Carry this like a pocket tool, not a performance. You don't need eloquence, only a kind instruction your body can follow. If you drift for 30 minutes, the next sentence is waiting. Say it, do it, and let the doing be enough.
Notice what shifts. The room hasn't changed. The list hasn't shrunk, but the air around your next minute is softer. You didn't become a different person tonight. You simply let the moment in front of you, and it answered. That's the kind of trust that rebuilds quietly, line by line, cup by cup, step by step, until your day remembers how to hold you. When the world feels too loud, when choice feels slippery or heavy, your voice can be the small, steady guide that says, "Here is what we do now," and then you do it. Relief rarely crashes in. It accumulates in little pools, enough to wet the gears so movement resumes.
One sentence opens the hinge. Another widens it. In a few breaths, you notice the edge between starting and sleeping isn't a cliff, but a shallow lip you can step over. You are not alone in this room. You have a companion you can always reach, one who knows how to speak only when you need it, and only as much as you can use. That companion is the voice you borrow from yourself, the one willing to meet you at the edge of the next minute, and the next, until time feels like it's yours again. The tabs can stay open. The night doesn't have to leak away. A single quiet line can turn the minute back on, and when a minute works, another follows. You don't have to force it. You only have to name the next small thing. Say it gently, and let your hands answer.